Good evening, everybody. Welcome to RPG Limit Break. This is the Final Fantasy Randomizer Thursday Community Race. I am DM Stewart 1981 in the booth. Alongside me is Carrot. How we doing this evening, Carrot?
I'm doing well. It's been a while since I've done commentary for a FFR seed, so I'm having to dust off a little bit of rust, but it's good to be with y'all again. Hello, everybody on RPG Limit Break land, whether it is live or later on YouTube. I'm excited to be a part of this. We've got Goats and Burt Reynolds who are going to be in our stream tonight. Both of them are really good runners, so I'm very much looking forward to what they're going to do with the interesting parties that they have before us tonight.
Yes. I will talk about the Blursings in a minute, but first I will talk about the flags for this seed. It is mostly what we have as the beginner preset. This is the flag set in our Duckling program for this week. But there's one trick, and that actually a couple of tricks. That is that there is a 50% chance that the floors of each dungeon, other than Temple of Fiends Revisited and Ordeals, will be flipped horizontally or vertically, and the stair locations are being shuffled. So, yeah.
This is going to be the first time that I will see either of those in FFR. So I was talking to folks beforehand. It gave me some flashbacks to Stair Shuffle and DWR. So it's going to be intriguing to see how it goes. And we look like we are underway.
We are underway. We get Heal 3, that's White Mage learnable. You get Ice 3, Brack, and Quad X and Cake at level 1. Okay, so the Blursings. The Blursings for this race. Fighter gets 20 hit, plus 20 hit percent and plus 40 HP. Thief gets legendary swords and resist earth and fire. Black Belt gets teleport magic and equip shields. Red Mage gets life magic at level 8 and plus 10 MDef. Also gets 2 charges of that. White Mage gets the level 3 elemental sweepers and 5 luck. The heal magic Black Mage gets heal magic and wood adept. So that'll be 3 heal spells, and if Black Mage equips all 3 wood items, helmet, armor, and shield, that will drastically increase the Black Mage's evade.
Well, as chat mentioning, some very interesting Blursings for these characters.
Yes, and no one checks the hint giver, but I suspect they will be back and check the hint giver after.
Yo,
and
we have a flip flop.
We have a vertical flip. We have a vertically flipped Temple of Fiends.
Oh my goodness, that looks so bizarre.
Well, when you vertically flip, because the door has to be on a bottom wall. You have to You have to do some weirdness. We get an Ice 3 sword and a Vorpal +5.
And Ghost Pirate just went ahead and took out Garland and got a canoe and a ruby, it looked like, from the King's prizes.
So the other question is Goats going to regret not getting that ice and Vorpal sword? And I did not notice what was in the other. Did not notice what was in that other room.
Yeah, I didn't either. The chat's already talking about that legendary weapon Thief has something to wield straight out.
Oh, Bang Bang Maxwell's Silver Hammer. And Goats pulls Bridge Boss. Burt Reynolds knocks out Garland pretty quick and gets that canoe and ruby.
I did notice also when they were checking the various shops that probably something that I expect both of our runners like to see early is pro rings. I want to say there were pro rings +3 in the Canaria shop, so that's a good thing to have, just or at least to know that it's there straight out of the gate.
Burt Reynolds pulls Bridge Boss. Goats Pirate pulls Bicky.
He pulls Pirate Boss. And then freezes
And
it to death.
yep.
I think Bert's going to be following those footsteps very quickly. Hello, Canal.
That's a canal. Doesn't do us a whole lot of good until we get a ship, but that's still good to get.
Yeah.
That Vorpal was in fact a +5.
Yeah, it was a hefty Vorpal. I mean, I know it's a running joke in the community about the value of the Vorpal sword, or the lack thereof, perhaps. But this early on with Legendary Weapon Thief, as chat's mentioning, yeah, it's gonna smack pretty hard, and especially against some of your single bosses, and yeah, you'll definitely take advantage of it. Speaking of things you want to take advantage of,
Speaking of things to take advantage of, Exit and Life at level 2, White Magic. Yeah, the Ice Sword +3 is not anything to sneeze at.
no.
TNT is on top floor of Ordeals. Oh, that's right. They randomized some of the incentive locations. Some of the incentive locations got randomized. Ice Cave, Ordeals, Marsh, Earth Cave, Sea, and Sky are all in a random location. Earth is in a random pre-rod location. Sea Shrine is in any chest that's not TFC, that friendly chest.
Yeah, sure, we'll call it that.
And Sky is in Sky. It is not in Mirage. Well, we are trying to keep it family friendly, so we'll call it that friendly chest.
Yes, that fun chest, that fantastic chest.
Goats, it looks like is headed. Goats is headed through the river system toward ice. Bert is headed to Dwarf Cave and going that way.
Yeah, given that we have the canoe already, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility to do either of those moves. It's just the river system's a bit more difficult to navigate, especially in the early levels, but it looks like Goats made it fairly seamlessly and found an Oxyale hiding in the shop.
Shop item Oxyale, that's a find.
Yeah. And it's not exactly cheap, but I've seen worse prices.
I've seen worse prices today.
Yeah.
Bottle. That's a bottle, and here we've got our shuffled stair locations in Marsh, and a flipped dungeon.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy, I my head's probably going to be hurting by the end of this because I'm going, wait a minute, nothing is where it's supposed to be.
White shirt +5.
Oh, that's really good.
That is a beautiful find for Bert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know sometimes, especially on the upper floor or on the what is typically supposed to be the upper branch of Marsh Cave, there's sometimes a debate as to, whether do you keep that or do you reset out of it. No resetting out of that one.
Yeah, you don't reset out of it when you get the white shirt.
Kane asking, is there a reason Bert only has 3 characters? Well, for one, Bert is crazy and does insane things. But if you have 3 characters, then the way that the experience distributes in the game, it actually distributes a little bit better to each of those 3 characters. And that makes the characters obviously level up a lot faster. And as Saracen's also mentioning, it also minimizes menu time. And Bert is one of the most expert runners of this game and can very easily navigate the game with 3 characters, so it's definitely to his advantage to do that, given what he knows about the game.
I did not see what was at level 3 or level 4 magic.
I did see Temper in level 4 Black. As for the others, I was admittedly too busy running my mouth, so forgive me.
I was watching Burt Reynolds and seeing what was coming out of Marsh. And that's an herb out of Marsh.
No, don't have to go too far to turn it in.
And a zombie D tile.
That's not a bad thing to have at this point, and you can get a decent amount of experience out of it.
Yeah, you get good XP out of it. I mean, I'd like something that would take the zombie D out a little better than ice magic, but...
Yeah, fair. And Forsaken Sadness, who is pushing all the buttons and keeping us straight with the tracking today, let us know that looks like we've got Cure 3 or Cure 4 at level 3 white magic. And also Lit 3 was one of the spells in Elfland as well. So pretty decent magic we had, especially if that was a Cure 4. Then yeah, that's very good to have.
Yeah. And yes, the Vorpal is doing Vorpal things, which makes the Winter Tournament flags somewhat unfortunate, because that's usually going to be your endgame sword in those flags. We do have the Winter Tournament coming up after the first of the year. The herb leads to the crystal.
Fetch quest, go!
Do you want to have a fetch quest?
There's our Lit 3 at level 3.
There's a Lit 3 at level 3. Let's see what the white is. See what the white magic goes. Cure 4.
Oh, it was Cure 4.
It is Red Mage learnable.
Oh, that's even better.
Now Goats picks up that herb. Harm 4, which if you have a white mage, that's good. Because white mage Harm All is on. Temper and Saber at level 4.
Okay. Yeah, Harm 4 is one of those spells that may not necessarily stand out as being a great spell just straight off the jump, but particularly in places like Marsh or Ice Cave or anywhere that has a lot of undead enemies, Harm 4 becomes very, very good.
Well, White Mage Harm improved harm is on. So if you have a white mage, better. If you have a white mage, that Harm 4 will hit all enemies.
Oh yeah, much better then.
But only when cast by that white mage. Bert is burning off an encounter or so.
Yeah, that's one of the things also for anybody who might be a little bit newer to the game. The game has, basically whenever you start up a seed, it will set essentially the encounters in terms of what steps you get the encounters in. And some of the more astute runners of this game will be able to figure out the encounter cycles to where they can, you notice Bert getting a couple of encounters taken care of, and then had a much longer run down the river system than you would expect otherwise, because he was able to burn those off and take care of it to where he could move a little bit more expeditiously down the river system without having to worry about being interrupted as much.
The best way I've heard the encounters described is, okay, wall at level 6 white, fast at level 6 black, and Goats is headed for Ice Cave. The best way I've heard the encounter table described is consider a deck of cards with 256 cards in it. And you get 6 encounters in there for Overworld. Every step, you take the next card off the top of the deck. A soft reset will keep you where you are in the deck. A hard reset will take you back to the beginning.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard that same sort of explanation. I forget who told it to me, but yeah, that's probably the best way to visualize it. So it looks like Ice Cave, at least the first floor, was flipped. I want to say it was flipped horizontally, I believe.
First floor was flipped horizontally. Second floor was flipped vertically.
Okay. Oh, that makes this even more fun, that different floors can be flipped differently.
Yes.
Good grief.
And the beauty of encounter manipulation is once you know where your encounters are, they won't ever change.
Yeah, that's how you're able to see, like burning off, I want to say 3 encounters there. That's how you're able to see these runners continue to do that, because it is a set pattern throughout the seed. So once they have it down, then they can continue to take advantage of it throughout.
Oh Lord, they can flip both ways? That's just disgusting.
And you also have, of course, the stairs being shuffled around, so...
Yeah.
So you get the example that we see on floor 2, which is, hey, go north. Oh, there's the stairs.
Yeah, I am not a fan of I'm not a fan of this particular flag, this particular type of thing. These were the ducking flags this week.
Yep. Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm still sort of traumatized by the stair shuffle in DWR, which can take you to different locations entirely. And I've been informed that, well, it's in this game too, so... Oh boy. Alright.
Aegis Shield. But
We're
with
doing
no
all the
fighter,
fun.
but with no fighter, that Aegis Shield is cash.
Yep.
Yes, Sunflash, these are the duckling flags. These are this week's duckling flags. So, I mentioned the ducklings. I should talk about the duckling program. The FFR community has a program for newer runners called the Duckling Program, and there's a rod on Goat's Pirate in the Frostwolf Armory. The FFR community has the Duckling Program. It's for newer runners. It's to get people more used to running randomizers. There'll be a Duckling Derby after the winter tournament that will feature runners that are newer, that have not placed better than, I want to say, 8th in a Duckling Derby, 4th in a Duckling Derby, 8th in a major tournament. So it's just for newer runners, so you don't have to worry about running into Goat's Pirate or Burt Reynolds or Dead Pulse and just getting crushed.
Yeah. I will also mention Dead Pulse, I believe, was initially going to join us for this race, but sadly had controller issues literally pretty much right before we started the stream tonight. So
we get a ribbon out of Matoya's closet.
And Bert is very much taking it. Yeah. Definitely a good thing to have.
So that's going to open up Corneria Locked. Yeah, the last class of ducklings was really good.
Yeah. I made 4 trips through the duckling program and was never able to molt my feathers and turn into a swan, so I just kind of went about my business.
And let's see what we get out of... we get the ship.
We also get a bot in chat, so hopefully a mod's around.
Yeah, hopefully we got a mod around to handle that bot. Um,
Thank you, Mod.
Thank you. And that ship is going to open. That ship's going to open up this a lot of this seed.
Oh yeah. So I've noticed Bert is sitting on this mage tile, and I don't blame him one bit because
That's a reasonably good. It's a reasonably good grind tile for this point in the game, as long as the mages are taking damage.
yeah, and it looks like he's not really having a whole lot of problems taking them down. So, and they're not doing anything really to him. So, certainly I could definitely understand the benefit of this. Because yeah, there's 2 grand experience. He's got everybody up to level 15. So, definitely a good thing to have, especially now that he had the item already out of there. So just went ahead, grinded up to 15, and is burning off encounters to get the heck out of Dodge. Probably be following in Goat's Pirate's footsteps very shortly here.
Question is now, do you turn in the crystal? I think I do. I think I still turn in the crystal, but I might go to Corneria first. If I'm Burt Reynolds. Get the Corneria locked first.
I was gonna say, Matoya had the key, so it has to do it in that sequence.
Nope.
Oh
Level
yeah,
15,
that's right.
Level 15 is lock picking.
Yeah. That's another thing that I'm not entirely used to.
The thief at level 15 now functions as a key. I don't know that I would turn in the crystal first, Saracen, only because I can take the ship around to the Matoya dock. But Burt Reynolds is doing that, so.
And Forsaken mentioning it as I was busy looking at other screens that we have Nuke at level 5.
That's a tail from Sarda. I did not notice what was in the Titan's Tunnel. I did not notice the incentive out of Titan's Tunnel. It looks like that may have been the rod.
Now, Forsaken mentioning there wasn't really anything in Titans, so. While I'm thinking about it, thank you to everybody who is assisting with stream tonight. Thank you for Jay Scheidel is the one handling the restream tonight, so definitely much appreciated on that. And also thank you to Forsaken for helping us with the tracking because, well, as you've noticed already tonight, I clearly have my head on straight. Obviously.
There is another ribbon. There's a second ribbon in Earth.
Oh boy.
So we've found 2 ribbons so far.
That's very, very good.
But I don't know if that was the incentive ribbon. I don't know if that was the incentive ribbon or a regular ribbon.
Yeah. I mean, if nothing else, we'll likely find out from Bert fairly quickly because probably going to do precisely the same thing that Goat's Pirate was doing. Go ahead, check the spells.
I'm going to say that was not the incentive ribbon. Because Goat's Pirate is continuing to check chests.
Oh, that nuke is unlearnable right now for Bert, though. That's unfortunate.
Well, once Bert goes and gets that tail...
Yeah, that won't be much of an issue.
Okay, didn't hear the chime. That is not the incentive ribbon.
Right.
So we still have an incentive ribbon to find.
Yeah, whenever it came up on Bert's screen, I don't have any audio up, but if it had paused between him picking it up, if he wasn't able to move on from there, that also would have been something of a giveaway that it was an incentive, I believe.
Pro Cape +3, which is functionally a shield for your mages. Yeah, with Nuke being not learnable until after promotion, I think keeping the tail is the right play.
Yeah, makes sense. Especially with a party of two red mages, or yeah, red mage then red wizards. Yeah, it's understandable.
And there's a grind tile there.
Yeah, eye tile's not bad either.
That
I guess.
the earth elemental tile being the eye is a nice find. Oh, I'm having flashbacks to the Monday race.
Huh.
With the eye tile in Earth Cave.
Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm unable to either make or watch the Monday nights anymore. So, um, yeah, it's sad in that vein, but one of those things.
And Bert finds that eye as well.
And immediately proceeds to start poking at it. So,
Also, goats.
yeah. Oh, yeah. No surprise there. I mean, anytime you can find the eye tile as far as grinding is concerned, you absolutely want to go for it.
Yeah.
Especially if you've got the alternate trap tiles turned on and it ends up being a 3-eye grind.
Yeah, 3-eye is a really good find. And Bert finds that second ribbon.
Yeah. Yeah, that confirms that it was not an incentive because there was no, like, of course, chat was mentioning there was no jingle and there was no pause to it. So.
Scheidel, no. That's actually the correct place to take the grind. That is actually the correct location to take the grind on the earth elemental tile, because you will not get off tile encounters.
Yeah, because the way that you're going kind of in that door and then back to the grind tile, it doesn't enter any steps on the encounter table, which is helpful.
There is a no off tile on the first floor? I didn't think there was. I was pretty sure there was not an off tile. There was not a no off tile encounter on the first floor.
That I can't necessarily speak to.
We still haven't found we still haven't found the incentive here in Earth.
Right. It looks like Goat's Pirate is probably going back to, I presume, reduce some resources.
All right. And there's that Pro Cape. And that Pro Cape +3. Oh, spiders. Spiders of varying kinds.
Yes, arachnophobes, we apologize.
Well, for some reason, spiders always seem to roll something nasty. All right. It looks like the incentive item is going to be somewhere on Vampire floor. And that's some couch cash. This Vampire, of all the floors to get vertical flipped, Vampire floor is super awkward.
Yeah.
More couch cash.
Yeah, it's interesting. I will say one thing that admittedly is, I wouldn't necessarily say comforting, but that the vertical horizontal floor flip is even throwing off, super experienced runners. It's
Yeah, that
reassuring to the noobs like me. Or as
this is
Saracen mentions, if it's not flipped, it's throwing people off.
it's not the stair the stair the shuffle is the one that's throwing these guys off, I would
Yeah,
suspect.
yeah.
There's our incentive. It's the slab. I'm going to theorize that Bert and Goats are going to clear through Lich and then go turn in that slab.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Also, that is a very pasty vampire. Holy Moses.
Yeah, as someone who Saracen in chat saying this was definitely him being a jerk this week when he made the flags. Next week is nicer. I certainly hope so.
I will say, though, given just this week's sample size, man, when the Ducks come out of this program, holy cow. I wouldn't be surprised if they start busting up tournaments immediately.
Well, at least some of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pretty much never don't check the greed chest there at Vampire. Bert is somewhere around 18.
Oh, looks like these images are annoying, if nothing else, because of all that fire, too.
Yeah. And this looks like a flipped. This looks like a flipped in some way Lich floor.
Yeah, I think it's horizontally flipped. And maybe the stair got shuffled as well? I'm pretty sure the stair did get shuffled.
The stair definitely got shuffled. And yes, it looks like it's horizontal flip.
Well, fulfills his role in life as being a speed bump, and so Bert has the Earth Crystal lit, and Goat's Pirate is going to have it lit within, I would say, probably about 60 seconds.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Lich's speed bump is speed bump.
Yep. So it's worth mentioning, just kind of in context, that Bert, of course, had stuck around in the Ice Cave to do that mage grind, whereas Goat's Pirate had gone ahead and started turning other stuff in. Bert has made up that ground with those extra levels, although the eye grind in the Earth Cave has, at least to some degree, mitigated that.
And let's see where Bert's going. I believe we do have Bahamut Horde on. Let me check that.
Yeah. Looks like Bert's
No.
headed for ordeals.
No Bahamut Horde. No Bahamut Horde this week. So yes, ordeals is the only answer.
Alright, so I'm afraid you'll have to educate me on Bahamut Horde as well.
Okay. If Bahamut Horde is on, all of the Cardia chests remain in their normal locations, but there is a link for each chest into the Bahamut, into the area around Bahamut.
Okay.
Part of this is because the only place you get a dock is at Bahamut.
Yeah. So it basically just allows you to get access to all of those items a little bit quicker.
Yes, and the incentive chest links to the chest immediately behind Bahamut. There is an incentive chest. You can turn a Cardia incentive on. And that links to the chest immediately behind Bahamut. And Bert making his way through the pillar maze. No, Cardia incentive is not on in these. Yeah, Cardia incentive is not on in these flags.
Okay, so we do know that.
Oh,
hi.
That's a Phantom.
Yep.
And Phantom is hitting like a truck.
Hey, Phantom is making phantoms of the party.
Yes, wrong eye. There's TNT.
Yeah, which we knew from the hint giver over in, I want to say, Provoca.
We knew that was there from the hint giver, but
yep. Still good to get it.
Silver Cheerio +4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we've seen gold -1s in Crescent Lake.
Which silver +4 and gold -1 are equivalent.
Okay.
And Goat's running back into wrong eye, which isn't even worth fighting because it's garbage XP and gold too.
Yeah. The Phantom is basically just the game's version of, well, that's a nice prize. Is basically just the game's version of absolutely trolling you like crazy.
TNT becomes the floater, and there's a ruse stick and a pro ring in Dwarf Armory, and there's a Sun Sword +1. And Bert's going to be in the air shortly.
Yeah, it looks like we're about 40 minutes into the seed, or getting close to that point, and I would say these runners are probably about a minute apart at the most.
Bert into the air at 36:30. It immediately goes to turn that bottle in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And is going to buy up some housing and potions. Meanwhile, Goats is going to buy that Oxyel. Bottle turns into Cran.
Well, congratulations. Did you like your fetch questing? Have a side of fetch questing.
And Bert is going to go turn in, find out what the Lefane item is.
Let's see. Trying to see what all we've got left as possibilities. We've got the Adamant, we've got Oxyel, Chime, and Cube, and
Oxyel we've got. Oxyel is Crescent Lake.
Okay.
Crescent Lake shop item.
Okay. And it's the Adamant. All right, so again, do you like your fetch questing?
Oh boy. And we have all the flips in Volcano. Goats is doing Volcano. Bert finds steak.
Yeah. But is it steak and wings?
Oh, that was just steak.
Yeah, darn. So it's not quite the full two-course meal, but yeah, it's at least a bite-sized delicacy.
Delicious, delicious steak. Bert, it looks like is going to go and Cardia Doc isn't even on. Bert is going to go and promote. Oh, all the vertical flips.
Yeah. Yeah, poor Goats has just been getting turned around, and understandably so.
Yeah. Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, I ran this seed I ran this flag as these flags in the duckling seed this week.
Mm-hmm.
I can take some solace in the fact that even top level runners are getting confused by the vertical and horizontal flipping and stair shuffling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely throwing everybody for a loop. Alright, so we got both folks in Volcano at the same time, albeit slightly different levels.
And no play to go after the no play to go to Armory.
Yeah. I mean, given you've got the Vorpal, and you've got, I mean, of course, now that Bert's promoted, he knows he has access to that nuke for the Red Wizards, so I'm not overly surprised. Especially once a runner of his caliber knows that they have enough power to be able to push through whatever they need to. It just, it's kind of why would you bother? It's just losing you time.
And carry floor is flipped vertically and horizontally.
Oh, fun?
All the volcano troll.
Yeah, every bit of it would seem.
The only question I had, because I didn't notice, was the stair location shuffled too?
That was a little tough for me to tell. Although I wouldn't be surprised considering what we've seen already.
Because that would just be super troll lol lol.
Oh, meanwhile, blink and you miss Carrie going down. Goats did a very good job of just taking her out.
And Goat's gonna res that other party member. Apparently it is in the right location for double flip because Burt Reynolds immediately went the correct place.
Yeah.
And blink and you miss Carrie.
Again.
And
all right, it looks like Bert. Yeah.
Bert's gonna be picking up some level 4 magic.
Yep. Yeah. Saber on that ninja is a good move, especially with that Vorpal. Just a couple of Saber plays, and then he can knock a lot of things out of the park. And now picking up that level 5 nuke, I suspect.
Yeah. I mean, that's the sensible play.
Yeah. Yeah, congratulations, you now have overwhelming power.
And Bert's gonna head back and
I grind.
Yep.
Yep, now here come the levels.
Yep. Here come the levels. Now, do you kill off the black mages or the black wizards and just grind up the ninja?
I
Or I'm
don't
sorry,
know.
red wizards.
I mean, it looks like he's just going to train up everybody for now. Probably just to get, I mean, more spell charges, I would suspect, would be good. Especially, I mean, level 5 for that nuke is not the worst level in the world as far as magic charges are concerned, but it's also not exactly the greatest either.
Ooh, Goats finds a blue stake.
Yeah, Saracen pointing out, surprised it didn't do Crown. Yeah, I'm a little surprised too. Crown and Adamant, because you get those two turned in, you get another couple of items, that increases your EXP yield.
Well, you may or may not get another item from Crown.
Yeah.
Because something has to be the ribbon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, with a couple of them, though, I think the possibility is probably a bit higher that you at least get one. And yeah, I guess it's just a question then of, how much more does that speed things up in terms of getting experience from that. Also pointing out something has to be the Masa. Yes, that is correct as well. And the loot.
Well, no, there is no Masa.
Oh, there is none? Okay.
Masa does not exist in these flags.
Ah, well, oops. Sorry,
Goat,
Swordy.
Goats promotes.
Nice rhyme.
Goats may be about to go up and do sea and waterfall?
Yeah.
Waterfall, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with the ICL, it makes sense to do both of those.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Massa is incentivized in these.
Okay.
I was looking at it. I was thinking about a different flag set.
Hey, that's easy to do.
I was thinking about the winter tournament flags where the Massa's out.
As in, it's out completely?
Yes.
Oh. Oh boy.
And let's see what this waterfall is going to give Goats.
Hey, we got out of bounds, Bat.
Hey,
Very briefly.
hi, out of bounds bat. Always like to see out of bounds bat. That's a Massa.
There's your
plus
Masa.
1. That is a Massa +1.
Looks like Bert is busy just one-shotting these eyes with pretty much anything. I think all 3 of his party members are now able to one-shot this eye.
Yeah, that does make it easier to. And 30. That's got to be sufficient. It's got to be a sufficient grind.
Yeah, one would hope at least.
I mean, it's without a black belt, that's got to be sufficient. With a black belt, you probably need 32 or 42.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, at least 32 with black belt.
Okay, confused stick. Bert's gonna head in there, head into Waterfall, get that massa himself. I would want over 400 on my life casters as well, but that's me.
Well, I was gonna say with the next couple of fiends coming up, I'm not sure how close that Bert would get to necessarily that goal, but at least it would get a decent way there.
Goat carbonates bubbles.
Goes ahead and gives that masa to the final party member.
And I didn't see was there an incentive in Mermaid?
Yeah, it was the cube.
Ah, the cube.
Yep.
So we're gonna see Goat. So Goat still needs the loot, which I think has to be Sky at this point.
Yeah, I think I want to say we've still got the adamant turn in. So.
And most of these floors in C are normal.
Except for mermaids,
we had vertical flip mermaids.
Yeah.
And Bert is not going mermaids direction.
Yeah. Chat pointing out that we do still have the adamant turn in, the crown turn in and one of those essentially will have to be the chime, and then the other one will be either ribbon, the incentivized version, or the loot, which of course we also need that to finish the game. So definitely an incentive to check those incentive items.
But I suspect that Bert is going to check Sharknado floor first.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's when you're going after that fiend, it's understandable. Just go ahead and kind of dig into these chests to make sure that the item is not sort of lurking in that neck of the woods. But of course, now we know that it's up in mermaids.
I mean, they're both right answers.
Yeah.
And Saracen makes a good point. You are going to have to go and get Kraken either way, so it makes sense to make sure to check if that item is on the way to Kraken.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's working out well for Goats right now, of course, because Goats already has the item in addition to not having to worry about checking all the other chests. So this is losing a little bit of time for Bert, just because Bert chose the Kraken side first. But you could definitely understand either play, given the way that the chests are distributed and what have you. Oh dear.
Xcal +4, which if he had a knight would be great, but no knight means that is cash.
Cash money, yo. And Goat's Pirate has turned Kraken into our evening supply of calamari, so that means we've got Goat's Pirate has 3 orbs lit, and Bert is going to be pursuing that same course pretty shortly. So it's going to be on the same orb level, but it's going to be a little bit behind because Goats already has that item and Bert does not.
Right, and that item is the cube, which is essential. And that means that somewhere in C will be the loot. So, full clear simulator. Oh, nope, nope, it doesn't necessarily have to be, because... Okay, Adamant gets turned in for the chime. And Bert through Kraken 1. Goat's headed for... Sky. Sky, sky, sky.
Yeah. The items we have left are... Yeah, we've got the crown turned in. Chat pointing out that apparently nobody
no
wants to
one
turn
has
in a
done
crown tonight.
it. Yeah, if Ribbon's in Sky, then we are on full clear sim. Bert checking TFC side. Did Bert check waterfall?
Yeah, Bert got the Matza.
Okay.
Yeah, because he equipped it on his bottom character.
Bert's got that cube. And there we go. Goats checking greater than, less than. Defense sword. That's a good find.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yes, Mirage 1 can be ultra trolly in these flags. And Bert is gonna make the play at Adamant, at least.
Yeah, he's gonna get that chime. Yeah.
And is also memory holding Crown. And yeah, Bert continues to memory hole Crown. Mirage 2, greater than, less than, is also potentially trolly in these flags.
Sorry, I'm not really laughing at runners, but
Yeah,
just these pauses as runners are going, wait, hang on.
These pauses as it becomes, wait, what's that?
Yeah.
What's there? Is that a
Okay, that looks
dragon
like
armor?
this was
There's our last incentive. It's the ribbon, or there's our sky incentive. It's the ribbon. It was dragon -3.
So that means the crown essentially has to be loot.
That means crown is loot, and we are playing Full Clear Simulator.
So, silly question perhaps, but if this floor is, it looks like, I think it was maybe vertically flipped, but if it's horizontally flipped, does that make it less than greater than room instead of greater than less than?
It'll look the same.
No, I know.
Well, the chests will.
Yeah. You just have to flip the names around. Perhaps.
That stair location.
Yeah.
We have horizontal flip and the shuffled stairs at the bottom. These flags.
Yeah. They've definitely been quite the trip.
We do have a power bonk. Power bonk is a big thing to find.
Yeah, between really, particularly with Bert's ninja. Well, really, I think both party members have ninjas. But that ninja with Vorpal's, again, not the greatest sword ever, but Masa certainly is. But between Power Bonk and the saber on that ninja, you've got physical attack, in essence, as much as you'd like.
Yeah. And Saracen points out why that particular location is so trolly to have the shuffled staircases.
Yeah.
Because you can get trapped in that computer room and then have to go back to Sky 2. Goats went one too far. Goats went one side too far.
Also, interestingly, apparently Bert is banking on the possibility of crown being loot, which we know is correct, but didn't open any of the chests leading into the last couple floors. So yeah, we know this is going to work out for him, but it definitely is quite a game to play with the possibility, if that incentive was the loot and he ran right past it, then
that's a risky strat.
Yeah. Chat saying it may be Bert may not remember he didn't have the loot. That's certainly possible. If that is indeed the case, then it's going to work out very well ultimately, fortunately for Bert.
Meanwhile, Goats is going to do a little magic shopping. Pick up Cure 4 on that night.
Yeah.
And Goats is going to go... Yeah, Bert kills off a blue stake. Goats has got that loot. Goats is in go mode at 103.19.
I think that pause in Bert's item menu was him realizing, hey, I still have the crown to turn in. And is going, yep, it's heading straight for it.
Yep, most likely.
So this is to a fair degree where these two are going to come together again, because Bert's already done his spell shopping. Goats is just now doing it. So by the time Bert gets his not quite looty loot and is able to get over to Temple of Fiends, I think Goats is going to be hitting it right about the same time. So we're going to have Temple of Fiend entries within probably about 5 seconds of each other. Yeah, if there's a ribbon at Ostos, then it's... yeah, if there's a ribbon there and Bert had to go all the way back, it would have been rough.
Yeah.
Also, those poor goats just getting absolutely bodied by the bats there.
I think Goats was actually trying to get the hints from the bats.
Ah, okay. I didn't realize the bats were hint givers.
Yes, as Saracen points out in chat, imagine the tilt if Bert saw Ribbon at Astos.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, as well as both of these runners have been going, if that had indeed been the case and Bert had to go all the way back into Sky to get the loot, that I wouldn't say would absolutely decide the race, but I think it would have gone a long ways toward doing so.
Bert would have had to depend on wipe from Goats at that point. Bert is actually ahead here on Earth floor. Goats has not hit Earth floor yet. Goats is just about to. Bert pulls speed bump 2.
Oh.
Ooh, poison smoke.
Oops.
But that's why we've got life. We have life, we have cure 4. Goats pull speed bump 2. Speed bump 2 down. Burt Reynolds pulling Kelly 2.
And nuking it down.
There goes Kelly 2. Burt Reynolds onto water floor. Goats is not far behind. You're about a minute or so. Uh-oh. That obviously had something. Burt Reynolds fighting Kraken 2, Goats fighting Carry 2. Kraken 2 trying to do Kraken 2 things. And Burt pulls Tia 2. And Goats is on water floor. I think barring a wipe from Bert, Bert's got this race in the bag.
Yeah, definitely hasn't had much of an issue with this Temple Fiends Revisited just yet. Of course, Tia 2 obviously could have something to say about it. Chaos maybe had something to say about it, but we did see Nuclear with Carry 2, so that takes that, at least that one instance or that one set of it out of the pool, so that makes things a little bit more reassuring.
And there's Tia 2 down on Burt Reynolds' side.
Ooh, so definitely good move on Bert healing up immediately after that
Yeah.
fight, because one step and there
Yeah.
you had, and then you get another air encounter. So plenty of enemies trying to block Bert's way to the chaos floor, and then more. All right, so Bert is getting that ninja all fueled up to go ahead and smack chaos around, focusing on sabers and tempers. The top mage is tossing out that white shirt to make everybody a little bit more dodgy. Fire 2 from Chaos doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, so good news for Bert. Gonna go ahead and continue buffing up that ninja. Ninja hits for, I believe, a little over 700 damage, so not a bad start to things. Then I think Fire 3 is coming out next. Going ahead and continuing the buffing regimen, using nukes now as well, so just trying to pare down Chaos a little bit. I think Bert, though, is pretty well set up. Oh, yeah, there you go. Big hit from that ninja, and Chaos is terminated. So it looks like, from what I can tell, the finish time is going to be about 1 hour, 11 minutes.
Looks like an official racetime.gg time of 1:11:03 for Burt Reynolds.
All right, so GG's to Bert. We will see if Bert is willing to join us for interviews this evening.
This weekend, coming up this weekend, we have the Final Fantasy Rando Marathon. All kinds of races, all kinds of marathon, all kinds of randomizer fun to benefit the university. Let's see, what is it?
The Medical University of South Carolina's Burned Children's Fund.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a mouthful, but it's definitely a good charity. We are very happy to support it, and if I remember the schedule correctly, the fun is going to begin at, I want to say, 9:30 Eastern tomorrow morning. The marathon is going to be running throughout the weekend on the Final Fantasy Randomizer channel. So if y'all want to drop on by and help support us, whether it's by donating or watching or signal boosting to help us out, we would definitely very much appreciate it.
Yes, it's a great cause. Goat's Pirate in the chaos fight. $10 for 619, and that'll do. That'll do it. We have Goat's Pirate with an official racetime.gg time of 1:12:53.
All right, so GG's to both of our runners, about a little over a minute and a half difference, which speaks not only to how seed went for them, but also speaks to both of their qualities, because yeah, definitely very short interval considering how the runners diverged here and there throughout the seed. As Bert waves hello to everybody in chat. Hello, Bert. Good to see you. We definitely appreciate both of y'all running the seed for us. And if anybody hasn't had a chance to go follow the runners, go follow the runners. I mean, both of them are great runners in the community, whether that is Burt Reynolds or Goats Pirate, or a command that I might have mistyped. Yeah, I think I mistyped that. Sorry. Let's try that again, except do it correctly. There we go. Yeah. All right. Burt mentioning forgetting Crown and Adamant was not my finest moment. Well, I was going to say the good news on that, Burt, was you maybe forgetting Adamant, yeah, maybe not have been the best move, but it looks like forgetting Crown worked out because we were just talking in chat about if the Crown turn in had been the ribbon and you would have had to go back into Sky to find that loot, that may very well have made the difference in the race. And considering how close you two were, it likely would have. So,
Yeah.
So yeah, it worked out well ultimately.
And the tilt there, I'm sure, would have been real.
Yeah, and understandable, certainly.
So it looks like neither runner is able to come in for an interview. Goats brought Thief, Fighter, Red, Black. So let's so any final thoughts on the seed? Any final thoughts on the seed, Caront?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It's a good way to get back into broadcasting for FFR. Definitely trains up the vocal cords a little bit before tomorrow's marathon. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Definitely thank you to Jay Scheidel for the restream, for Sakin doing the tracking, and DM Stewart. Thank you for putting up with my shenanigans on comms. So definitely a lot of fun. And so yeah, much appreciated. The seed was, I think my mind is going to take a little bit of time to unbend from the flipping and the shuffling and all the things. It was definitely a good way to kind of get familiar with it. I think if I had tried to actually run this seed myself, well, you would have had Burt finishing and then Goats finishing, and then we would have been on RPG limit break for another hour while I stumbled around the world. So I'm glad I calmed these flags and didn't actually try to run them because, yeah, I would have been so lost. It's not even funny.
Yeah,
oh well.
The vertical flip I can deal with, the horizontal flip I can deal with, but when you add the stair shuffle in there, it's so easy to get lost.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely something for I wouldn't quite say the ages, I guess, but it was definitely interesting to say the least. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I hope y'all did as well. Everybody helping out, everybody running it, everybody in the chat here at RPG Limit Break. I hope y'all all had a great time. And come back to FFR tomorrow morning where we're going to be starting our opening ceremony of the FF Rando Marathon Winter Edition tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And then our first randomizer that we are going to be running is going to be Simbai running the Super Mario RPG randomizer at 10 a.m. Eastern. It is going to be a solo run, so solo character, and there are actually incentives that you can go ahead and donate for as we get ready to begin the marathon. So you definitely are more than welcome. If you've not already joined the Discord, go join the Discord and get information about the marathon. We can definitely get you that. We can get you information on the rando charity stuff that we are doing tomorrow. Hopefully y'all will join us all weekend for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Looks like after that there's Mystic Quest randomizer, Zelda 2 randomizer. The Z2 randomizer is fun.
Yeah. Oh God, and a mess, but fun. Yes.
Well, yeah, it's a mess too. But Jets Time, Pokemon Crystal, Castlevania Area of Sorrow, Mega Man 2 randomizer. I'm not entirely sure how that works.
I was gonna say maybe folks can talk about it maybe a bit more tomorrow, but I want to say that randomizes the power of weapons, randomizes weapon placement, maybe enemy placement as well. Not sure, but I don't know. it's gonna be a lot of fun. We can find that out, all of us, tomorrow. So yeah, I think it's gonna be exciting, and that's part of the appeal. Just seeing all these new randomizers and seeing what they do.
It is. Um, so, on behalf of all of the crew, on behalf of all the crew here in the booth, uh, on behalf of RPG Limit Break, thank you again for coming out. Thank you again, RPG Limit Break, for letting us use your channel. Uh, on behalf of Jay Scheidel, our restreamer, Forsaken Sadness, our tracker, and my broadcast partner, Caront, I have been DM Stewart 1981. Good night, everybody.